Hello everyone, welcome back. We are going to be making vintage mittens. I will share the channel and the name of the video of the lady that I followed. For this project we used a 4mm hook, and I'm not sure the weight of this yarn or the size, but it fit the 4mm hook. And the size of mittens that we are making are following her pattern is 8 to 10-year-olds, and we're going to start with a chain of 79. The stitches that we will be using are a chain, a single crochet, slip stitch, and in the back loop only. And then you'll need 4 stitch markers. And for the pattern that the lady created, she used a turning chain. I do not like how turning chains look at the end, so I do not use them. The name of the channel of the pattern I followed is called Just Vintage Crochet, and the name of the video is Super Easy Mittens. And we are back with our 79 chains completed, and now into the first row. The first 12 stitches we will be doing a single crochet. And then in the next 6 stitches, we will do 6 slip stitches. And this is where your stitch marker is going to come in handy. So at the end of your 6th slip stitch, then you'll want to place a stitch marker in the front loop. So when you turn it and you come back, it will show you the back loop. And you want to leave your slip stitches kind of loose, not super loose because then they'll be holy, but you want them snugly loose because it's going to be a little difficult to come back through on the next round and do slip stitches. After the 6 slip stitches, then we're going to go and do 19 single crochets. And here you'll see me placing the stitch marker. It's going to be on the front loop, so when you turn it to come back and do the next row, it'll be on the back loop, which is where you'll place your first slip stitch of the next row. And here we are doing the 19 single crochets, and this pattern is kind of like a mirroring pattern. So after the 19 single crochets, we're going to do 4 slip stitches. And this will be like the top of our mitten. And you'll be able to see as you get down further along the rows. You can use whatever stitch markers you have. And if you don't have stitch markers, what I've used in the past are contrasting yarn colors. And then I'll just pull the yarn through. And here we are doing our 4 slip stitches. And make sure you do them kind of loose but snug, so then they're not so difficult when you come back through to do the next round. And then you want to place another stitch marker on your last slip stitch of this set of 4. And then now we're going to go into the mirroring side of this and do 19 single crochets. And then followed by that, we'll do 6 slip stitches. And then followed by that, make sure you put in your stitch marker at your last slip stitch of the 6, and then you'll do 12 single crochets. Here we are. We're going to start our 6 slip stitches, and then we will do 12 single crochet. And when we turn and do the next row, we're going to be working in the back loop only. Here you can see I forgot to put in my stitch marker when I finished the 6 slip stitches, and then I just went into doing the 12 single crochets. So remember to put in your your stitch marker. It will help a lot during this pattern. Here we are going on round 2, and we turn our work, and the stitch pattern that I was following, she calls for a turning chain, but I do not like turning chains. So on the very first stitch, you're going to go through both loops and complete a single crochet. And then the next 11 stitches, you're going to go through the back loop only with a single crochet. And you'll see as we come up to the stitch marker, and it'll be in the back loop place. And I will just put the needle right through there so I don't miss the single crochet where it's supposed to be. I'm sorry, the slip stitch where it's supposed to be. And then continue the 6 slip stitches and place my stitch marker back. Again, if you don't have stitch markers, that's fine. You could use paper clips maybe, or a contrasting yarn that will stick out, and use that in place of to save your stitches. It will very likely help you. This pattern will repeat, and we're going to do this for a total of 13 rows, and that's counting the ones that we've already done. So you can speed up the video, you can pause it, save it. Just make sure that you are going in the back loop only with every stitch, even the slip stitches. And be sure to use your stitch markers. They will help out a lot. I did find when making these mittens that the size that I used, the hook was great and the yarn was great, but it was too small for my 8-year-old. And she really liked the mittens, so I think I'm going to make another pair and just adjust the stitches and how long. And it really, the spot where it didn't fit her is where the 6 slip stitches are. When you fold it, that's going to be like where the wrist should be. And it came to about the palm of her hand. So it was kind of small. But she really likes them. And I think they worked up pretty quickly once I got the hang of it. It was very fun to make these. Here we're at the end of our row, and remember with the turning chain, if you want to use a turning chain, by all means you can. I just don't like how it looks, so I go right in to the end. And here we are with all 13 rows completed, and now we are going to start the thumb round. So this we are going to do, should be round 14, and we're gonna start it the same like we have been with the 12 single crochets and 6 slip stitches. And at the end of the 6th slip stitch, we will do 7 single crochets in the back loop only. And after the 7 single crochets, we will do 15 chains. So after the 7th single crochet, we will go ahead and chain 15. And then at the opposite end, we will find our stitch marker where we did the 6 slip stitches at the other end. And we will count up 7. And we will place 7 single crochets in the back loop only. And we will go ahead and continue with the 6 slip stitches and then the 12 single crochets in the back loop only. so we completed the 15 chains, and here you see we grabbed the stitch marker at the opposite end, and we're going to place a single crochet at the 7th one and follow it down with 7 single crochets in the back loop, and then we will do the 6 slip stitches, and then we will finish up with the 12 single crochets in the back loop only. Alright, so we finished the first row, and now we're gonna turn our work. I got mixed around with my yarn placement. Alright, so we're gonna turn it and complete it like we have been, with the 12 single crochets and then 6 slip stitches. And then after the 6 slip stitches, we are going to do 13 single crochets, starting with after the slip stitches and then going into the chain. We'll do 13 single crochet, and then we will do 3 slip stitches. You're going to need another stitch marker so you can mark that place. After the 3 slip stitches, then we're going to go ahead and do 13 single crochets and complete the 6 slip stitches and the 12 single crochets at the end. And then you'll turn your work and repeat that for 4 rows. As we near the end of this round, doing the thumb round, and I'm looking at my videos, I realized that I did not get the very end after we completed, and then we slip stitch the mitten closed. My apologies, but it will work up as you fold the mitten in half, and then you will take from both sides the inside loop, and then you will slip stitch it together all the way around. And here we are at the end of this. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe.